Namaste. I am staying with Dr. Niranjan in Madhya Pradesh since last few days, and he is from Andhra Pradesh, studied in China. He did MBBS in China and worked in Delhi for few years. After that, he traveled across India and stayed in some ashrams, and he has many experiences. This is how I can introduce you, but how you introduce yourself?
I think we always fall short to introduce ourselves. I'm more of an experience-based person,
Mm-hmm.
where I think the introduction you have given is enough
Okay.
to give an identity to me.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think so I fit into any identity.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean to say is, like, after knowing the real wisdom of this country,
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely very sure that you don't have an identity to live with.
So, what is spirituality for you?
It's just a term to define the way we can live more truthfully.
Mm-hmm.
So I think again, in English it is just a word to speak about, and that
Mm.
I always differentiate them to be rituality and spirituality. Rituality is like something as a routine that you have in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Spirituality is like diving deep into something that you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and you're constantly searching for it.
Mm-hmm. So, you stayed in many ashrams and all, and you have some spiritual experiences, many things you shared. What is this ashram? Like, what is ashram as per you?
Ashram is more of an organization now,
Mm.
which is legally induced, and everything is documented
Mm.
around these days.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a school or institution or organization.
Mm-hmm.
But the word and the core thought process of ashram was different in ancient India.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more like a person who was aspiring spiritual journey would start a house, would
Mm-hmm.
start a living space,
Mm-hmm.
where he bring people who would understand his intentions, who would understand the way he or she is trying to live.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what was called mostly an ashram.
Mm-hmm.
They were quite powerful in a way, because most of the kings were sent to ashram
Mm-hmm.
to school themselves and know different kinds of you know different faculties of practices,
Mm-hmm.
like learning chemistry, learning archery, learning more into what wisdom is, learning more into how one should lead a group of people, group of community. So there
Mm-hmm.
were so many dimensions to it,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the person and depending on the way they understood how it has to be.
Mm-hmm. So, many of my subscribers they say that I want to stay lifelong in a ashram and all. Is this possible nowadays? Like,
It's more of a money world now.
mm.
So I think everything operates on money as a resource.
Mm-hmm.
So it is possible, but like there is there is no real way to build an ashram even.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a kind of imaginary process.
Mm-hmm.
Even living in a deadly city like Mumbai and Delhi, you can make your own house to be an ashram,
Mm-hmm.
bringing more people, bringing more positiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, it can go wrong even.
Mm-hmm.
And living in a place like this, people would think that ashram is ideal for this. Definitely, lifestyle itself, the way we live is ideal like this,
Mm-hmm.
because this is how it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
We deviated things and we started building in boxes and concrete structures.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, life was it was like this, and it's supposed to be this way. So this is more into ashram culture, because that's how ancient India was. There were so many rivers, empty grasslands, grazing lands around the villages. That's where people who were like, especially the rishi culture, rishis and munis, they used to go and settle there, either married or unmarried. They used to settle there for, to have, to enhance their thought process, and to document their thoughts, and to help people who come, and educate them at the same time. So nowadays, I think, ashram has a very different definition. It's just a name, but most of them are institutions and organizations which are legally bound and documented, which is good, which deals with the present day situation. But I think when money comes in, the wisdom goes away. So if you understand that, so wherever, even it is called as an ashram or an institution, which which define more of a spiritual process. So when money flows in, the wisdom flows out, because they don't stay together. So once you become wise, you always understand that you don't define yourself through material wealth.
So here, I have visited many ashrams and posted some videos. After that, I never know like these things will happen or something. Many single girls, married women, and some single men who don't want to marry or who have kids, and these girls want to leave the husband and go to the ashram. This kind of because they heard this kind of thing. If you don't have anyone to look after, you can go and stay in ashram. Even in my family, one of the persons, like a woman, left him even during when he was married. So my family also recommend, now you go to the ashram. Otherwise people force them to have married, get married, have kids, and these things. But when there is no one, or if there is a problem in life, they say they go to the ashram and stay. But ashrams are not like before, as you said, is corporate world. Even I was trying to explain them, like after visiting some ashram, I understood that ashrams are not like before, where you can grow spiritually. But now it's like an organization and system is different.
System is different, and sometimes for single people and who have no support as a community, they could be exploited in these places. So that is the reason, most of the people say no to these kind of decisions these days. But it was not like that before, and people always had true intentions when they build these ashrams. But as time goes, the new yuga falls into. So things changed, and people started living a different kind of life, where they're more behind the material wealth. Right. I think until the material world dies, they'll never understand that this is not the way to exist. Before it was not like this. So it's not like you don't have such places, but it's up to us, how we define them.
Right.
So, but as far as I know, I don't see ashrams as ashrams these days.
So there is a different kind of practices in spirituality. Which practice you recommend for the people?
The biggest practice is like going very near to the truth. That is the only practice. So even in they define yoga also into many classes, many subclasses, many divisions. They give literally they say it as angas of yoga. So all the angas, ashta, shashti, sapta, all the angas they made, they were just someone else's practices. They were not doctrines, or they were not written documents for you to just follow like this. In the path of searching their own truthfulness, they found a pattern which helped them. Then they documented it and they created a process, and we started, following that path, and that becomes a practice to you. There is no specific way when you are on the path of truth. I think that is what you can define spirituality to be. You always understand the truth behind it. How deep it could be, it's up to you to go how far you can go. Because there are dimensions like the Akasha, there is no limit to it. Either you take science, you take telescope, you take all kind of technology that you have these days, and define Akasha, you can't define it completely. It's an element which is like endless. You constantly go into it. Even truth is something just like that. It's an element that you can't completely define. It always evolves, depending on the practice, depending on the experience, depending on the situation. It changes and it moves. So it's so flexible. So the way you mold yourself onto the path of truthful journey, that is what is should be our practice. So if people ask me, how can we start, what are the basic things this is the basic intention that you need to have. Either you're living in urban places, rural places, somewhere remote places also, you should understand what would be the truthful path to walk in this way of life. Wherever, whatever profession they are in, whatever they are doing in their life, choose that. Where comes the the basic starting foundations of even yoga shastras, where the yamas and niyamas. So you change your lifestyle accordingly. So these would fit, these would not fit. Depends on that, you create a path. Then comes the next two wings, which are very important and which are widely practiced, which are asanas and pranayama. So asanas are like, it gives you both of them literally speak for themselves. Asana itself means like a posture, it's a posture. So it gives you a physical integrity. So most of the people, they don't have a physical integrity in current days. So it takes them for their whole life having that physical integrity. They don't grow into the next limbs of yoga, next anga of yoga. So mostly they stop till asana or till pranayama, some people. Beyond that, they don't understand. But you follow these yama, niyama, asana, pranayama just to understand the depth of the rest of the 3 or 4 limbs, how they have defined it. Like pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. So to understand those 4 limbs, we prepare in these 4 limbs, the initial ones. So which gives you more energy, which gives you more capability to move into the path. So next 4 limbs are like integral journey, where once you enter pratyahara, they say it could happen every day after doing puja. This was like, that's how the traditions were kept in our culture. If you see, even now before doing havan, they sit in one asana and they do pranayama. So they initiate themselves into pratyahara. Then after pratyahara, slowly they start chanting, which becomes dharana, dhyana, and they leave by constantly watching fire is also trataka. So doing that, you reach samadhi. At least you experience that phase where you completely lose your physical boundness. That gives you that glimpse of real truth. And again the real world drags you back, so you come back. So every day doing puja, every day doing some rituals, havans, all these ritualistic practices, they had a spiritual definition which would lead you to more pleasant and more deeper perception of truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the cultures and traditions were designed to. But we don't understand the deeper intentions of them. We always just fall into doing it physically, and we don't go beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
The real path starts and moves in the moves in the journey of truth,
Mm-hmm.
where you create a practice.
Hmm. So many people asking me like how to find a guru and how we know he is the right guru for me. He is the real one or something.
I think there is no real guru. To all the gurus, nature is the guru. Prakriti is the guru. I can say, and yeah, they can be a guide to you at some point. But again, just like ashrams and gurus are also being at being online, where they could go wrong, or they could teach you something which doesn't suit you. So always keep them as a motivating factor. Learn from many gurus and many teachers around, and make your path on your own.
Hmm.
Because guru itself, the root meaning of guru defines that who shows the path and who destroys the darkness within you.
Mm-hmm.
I think nature and absolute state of creation, understanding such levels of creation would give you. You don't need any guru.
So many people meditate to go in a status of like a thoughtless state of mind. How to achieve that?
That is what mostly dhyana and samadhi are. If you like, till even dharana also comes into that. But till pratyahara, you understand your sensual pleasures of your body. Where pratyahara literally defines that you get the ahara from a different origin. Pratyahara, ahara is just food. So food from a different origin, which exists in the creation already. So that is where you lose your senses and you enter into this journey where you are not looking for any kind of physical existence.
Okay.
You transcend beyond your physical body. Moving into the states of dharana, dhyana and samadhi. They are like, you lose your sensation. You see as an integration to everything around you. Either it is a person, either it is grass, either it is mud, river, tree, anything, you just integrate into it. You lose your sensual insight, and you become a larger insight.
What are the goals of your life?
I think goal is a very small word. Yeah, most of the English also, they don't have that deeper terminology to define what could be done in life, or what should be the so-called goal in life. I think to Indian context, if you ask me, to any person who is of this cultural origin, they would say goal is more of a is more like gnana or moksha, where you liberate from everything, and you bring that wisdom into you, which is absolute. So that is what would define goals to me, where you completely go into a state of absolute wisdom, absolute moksha, absolute liberation. So if you want to translate them in English, it would be absolute wisdom and absolute liberation.
So right now you are having here like farmland and mud house. What are your plans in future over here?
I have so many plans, but I don't know, for practical reasons, I don't want to push the, material part of my place, because I just wanted to live in a in a serene place like this, where I can just have less human distractions, especially the modern and technical distractions. So which would bring some some balance with my daily routine, no matter what I do. I have minimized everything, and then I have initiated a kind of lifestyle where I would do things very slowly. And because of my journey, I think everything is of my experience, where I would easily understand which should be done and which should not be done. Accordingly, I move. I don't have a specific defined process to go like this, or to do it like this. So mostly that is how I want to go.
So that's it for this video. So if someone want to contact you, is it okay to post your contact details in description of this video?
Yeah, you can post. Yeah, you can ask them. I'll share you some links.
Yeah.
You can share them that links also, and if they want, they can contact me. I'll speak to them.
Thanks a lot for talking with me.
Yeah.
And
Thank you so
it will be helpful for more audience also.
much. Yeah.
Thank you
so
for
much.
watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.